Welcome to the very first episode of the Dads of Main Street podcast, a show where four dads talk about fatherhood, fandom, and finding magic in everyday moments. Today we're jumping straight into something that hits close to home for all of us, the stigma around being a grown man who loves Disney parks. You know the look. You tell someone you're going to Disneyland or Walt Disney World without kids and suddenly it's weird. But why is joy, wonder, and nostalgia something we have to defend? We're breaking it down, the side eyes, the stereotypes, and why it actually takes a stronger man to lead with joy and lean into what he loves. So grab your popcorn, check your ego at the gate, and let's talk about what it really means to wear those ears proudly. Let's go. This is the Dads of Main Street.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Welcome to the Dads of Main Street, where four dads explore what it means to be present, passionate, and maybe a little obsessed with theme parks. We're talking fatherhood, fandom, mental health, park tips, and everything in between. From character breakfasts to real conversations about being better men and better dads, this is where magic meets real life. Welcome to the Dads of Main Street.
No matter how big you get, I am your father.
All right, so let's get into some intros. Austin?
All right, we'll just go around the horn. We'll start with, actually, Marcus, we'll start with you. How many kids do you got, and what are your ages?
Yeah, so I have two. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and I have a 5-year-old son.
All right, there
Nice.
you go. Josh?
They'll say 5.5 and 2.5. 5.5-year-old daughter, 2.5-year-old son.
There you go. All right, and Sean, round us out.
Yeah, I've got a 16-year-old daughter. We've been doing this Disney thing for the past 12 years.
There you go. That's awesome. And I got a 1.5 now, year old son right now. So I'm on the beginning stages of being an adult Disney dad. So I definitely will have to start throwing out questions to you guys just to, cover my bases and make sure I'm doing it right. So what we're here doing for this episode is just kind of talking about the stigma of being a dude that's an adult involved with Disney, passion of Disney. And we really just kind of want to break that wall, right, guys?
100%. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. There's such a stigma with being a Disney adult and especially with being a dude. So let's start with Josh. The stigma around being an adult that likes Disney. How do you deal with that in your daily personal life?
I embrace it. I mean, everyone who knows me I'm the Disney guy to them. And especially being a dad, I mean, you think about who the first Disney dad was, it was Walt Disney himself.
Yeah.
That's where he got the idea for Disneyland, right? He was watching his kids on a merry-go-round or carousel, and I just think I want to embrace it, and getting to go with my kids is so special that I don't care what other people think. I think they're missing out because it's so fun to get to do this with them, for them. Yeah. I want them to love it as much as I do.
100%. That's a great point. All right, Marcus, throw it to you.
Oh, yeah, honestly, I would say, being a Disney dad and being a Disney fan, to me, it all kind of goes together. I like to think that I would be as outwardly a Disney fan if I didn't have kids. But I got to tell you, I think being a dad, almost makes me want to be even more, outwardly who I want to be. Because, again, I have a daughter. She's in elementary, and kids can be kids, man. I mean, it doesn't get any better. Obviously, adults are the same way. And so, for me, I try to go out of my way and I just be in the Disney dad persona that I have, to show her just, not to be ashamed of who she is or what she likes, and, just trying to help drive. So to me, I feel like I'm parenting also, right? I mean, it's who I am. I enjoy this, but I also feel like I'm outwardly parenting my kid at the same time, trying to teach her and him to just not be worried about that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it kind of covers multiple things for me. It's also being a Disney adult, but also, again, being a parent who loves Disney and trying to teach your kids just to embrace that.
Yeah, I think being confident in who you are is huge. And honestly, with the stigma comes with that. How do we teach our kids to be good with that? All right, Sean, go ahead.
Yeah. So I got into Disney a lot later in life than a lot of people in the Southern California area. I grew up, born and raised in Southern California. And I didn't really start going heavy until I was a teen, late teens, when I had my own money and I can take girls on dates and stuff like that. And so, Disney for me was never like a kiddie thing, right? But so the past, a quarter of my lifetime now has been as a Disney dad. The past at least 12 years we've been doing this, and it's fun because my whole like parenting model has always been, there are a lot of assholes in this world. There's a lot of trashy human beings on this planet. I don't want to raise another one, right? And so when you look at things like how kids behave, how people parent, it's easy to raise a kid by like Disney standards, right? And what I mean by that is, don't climb on ropes, don't touch things you're not supposed to touch, don't yell and scream like, a monster. So, it's kind of easy to raise a kid in a Disney lifestyle because there's rules in place to help you, be a better human raiser, right? So there's that aspect, but then also like, I worked at Disneyland for just a short amount of time, just a couple of years, part-time, and knowing the Disney magic, the story behind like what Walt built, and knowing like what went into this park, why it was created, and why the legacy is as great as it is. It's cool to pass that along to the younger generations and let them know like this place was built on magic, and magic is real if you believe in it. And that's kind of my Disney dad persona. Yeah.
There you go. I like that. I appreciate the fact too that Josh, you said Walt was the first Disney dad. Like, how much more can we go from that? Like
right.
That's the creator of it was like, hey, let's do something for my kids, and I'm gonna be a Disney dad. I mean, that's hard to beat. But, that's a great point. And same, Sean. Like you literally have like Disney sets the standard for how a kid should act, honestly.
Yeah.
And that makes it real good. And then I appreciate what Marcus had said that, hey, like I'm letting my kids be who they are, and this is who I am. So give them the confidence to be that. So all three great points, guys. I really appreciate that too. I would say for myself, like I've always been in love with Disney. I think that's always been like a safe space for me. It's been, I mean, I don't mean to be like that, but it's always been something that I can go to that makes me feel happy.
Yeah.
I would ditch school, and I'm from Fresno, so I would drive 3.5, 4 hours to go to Disney. So when I ditched school, I was going like, sorry, I ain't coming back.
Yeah.
And so luckily I had good friends that would want to do it too, but that was always like my spot where I could just go and be happy and enjoy myself. And no matter what bullshit was happening in life, that was my escape. So now I'm raising a 1.5-year-old son now, and seeing him being influenced by like Mickey, and the excitement that I see in his eyes when he does see that, or we're watching, a YouTube video and it's a parade, and, they see Mickey there, and he's like, like you could tell, like it just brings that excitement already. Like he can't even say Mickey yet, but you could see it in his eyes. Like it's an immediate recognition. So that's my thing. I think my biggest fear, and you guys can all answer this one too, is will my kid actually like Disney? Like I love Disney. My wife loves Disney, but what if my son's like hits 5 or 6 and he's like, Disney's not my thing. So go. We could go reverse order now. Sean, did you ever have that fear? Obviously you have a 16-year-old.
Yeah. Kenzie is always, well, when she was little, she was like the princess. Like everything was princess something, a dress, a crown, like it was something. And she was really a big fan of Sleeping Beauty, Aurora, really early on. And then she was pretty young when Tangled came out, and it's our thing. Like I see the light comes on, I'm a ball of goo. Like it's one of my favorite things in the world. That's why I love that it's in like Fantasmic and now in Paint the Night. Like, so we get to celebrate that together, right? So I'm glad that she stuck with Disney. I was very worried though, because I was out of state for a number of years, and when I came back, it was 8 years, and I was like, when I come back, I'm getting a pass with my daughter, and we're going to go to Disneyland as much as we can. And that's exactly what I did. And I was like, at some point, like we were maybe a year into it, and I'm like, oh man, I really hope that I don't burn her out on this, and I hope that she really, keeps a love for this place. And here we are, 12 years later, and she's just as excited to go as she ever was. And so, doing things like the podcast has been fun because it keeps us looking out for new things. We're always trying to find like what the new food is, what the new event is. What she has a segment on our show called Hidden Mickeys with the Kid, where she reports on a hidden Mickey every week. We found a cool one yesterday we had never seen. So it keeps us excited to be at the parks, and it keeps her curious about, you know, the things that exist there, and the reasons behind things, or even just like the hidden gems that people don't see every day.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the detail is what makes Disney so much fun,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, that's the magic. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You've been there 100 times, but you can still find something new.
That's
All
the
right,
craziest part. When you can say like, "Oh yeah, I go like every weekend, but I saw something new the other day," and I'm like, how did I find something new? It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Marcus, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, like I said, we know the ages of my kids. I like to think, hopefully, that they won't get sick of it. I mean, we've been fortunate to go a lot. I mean, they're only 5 and 8, but we've been probably more often than most people get to go on their lives. So, the fact that they're excited about our upcoming trip, like in 25 days, I mean, I hope that's a good sign. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like I love Disney. I think for me though, I think what's important is making sure that Disney's where we go to be a family. But I mean, Disney's great, but it's not always just about this. It's just about being there, like with your family. Some of my favorite moments at Disney is when we're not doing something that's Disney. It's like when we're on the transportation going to Disney, right? It's like I think it's like, don't get me wrong, like Disney's awesome, but I think sometimes it's the moments that you're there where you're maybe not thinking about the magic, where it just kind of hits you, and you're just there as a family. You're not worried about all the outside, And so I hope that's, like I said, I think Disney will always love Disney, but I hope that they remember that it's just the time together, right? And that might sound sappy, but to me, like when I think back, that's what I think about, is just those little moments, where it wasn't maybe a fireworks show. It's just a simple moment where we're just eating quick service, and we're like tired and we're just laughing, like, just stuff like that. To me, is the stuff that I look back on, and so I hope that they do as well. And I think they will. They already do now, so I think they will.
And that's that for our family. That's the best part about Disneyland is we're going to this place that's really fun and magical, and we have rides and whatever, good food, whatever. But what we're the byproduct of that is a mental scrapbook of all these moments and all these experiences. And I think that's the best part about it, because if you're doing it by yourself, awesome, you get some cool memories. But when you're doing it like with your family, like that's a whole different world where I'm creating these memories for her, and she'll never see that place as a theme park. She'll see that place as home, and that's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
I'd say that one of my, and it's not even like a memory at the park, but going to the park, there's a time where we're 5 minutes away and we see Disneyland Drive coming into Anaheim, and my two older sisters were asleep in the back. My parents were up front, but something in my mind has always triggered that image of like, what is life? We're about to go into Disneyland right now, and my sisters are passed out, but like we're here as a family. Like, and it had nothing to do with the parks, but that will forever be like imprinted in my head. Yeah. So I mean, it's anticipation too, right? I mean, going weekly something, but like, hey, every 6 months was like kind of our thing. Getting that anticipation that our next trip was coming is such a like build up as a family. Yeah. As like, like, here we go. We're counting down the days. Like I have a countdown right now. I think we're at 195 days. So like, again, just that countdown. And it's been since September of 2023 since I've been there. So I'm way overdue. Sorry, Josh, go ahead. Your turn, Josh.
That's tough. Yeah. I've been fortunate to grow up in Southern California. My dad, who's passed away last year, but he was a Disney kid who was then a Disney dad. And we weren't all that close in, later years, but I did get that instilled from him. And like, I have pictures as a baby at Disneyland in the same spot that he was as a baby, which made me want to take a picture of my kid as a baby in that same spot. And my oldest, who's again, over 5 now, she was like a COVID baby, right? So her first year of her life, we didn't go anywhere. We lived in the Bay Area. And as soon as things started to feel like a little cleared up a bit, we're like, we're moving back down to SoCal, and we're going to be as close to Disneyland as possible. That was literally a major factor in where we decided to move, because my wife and I, when we started dating, that's where we'd go. We went on dates to Disneyland back when passes were,
cheap, $50 a month.
Yeah, I can afford it. But what's been awesome is, the question of, will there be a burnout or will they get over it? It's like my kids go through phases of like, okay, this month it's dinosaurs, and then
Yeah.
it's trains, and then it's this show that's not Disney that I won't even mention. But like Mickey and princesses, like those have been the constant.
Yeah.
Like I think my son's first words might have been Mickey Mouse. Like he carries his stuffy down every morning, and if it's not next to his bed at nighttime, I got to run downstairs and grab it and bring it back to him. It's like you'd think they'd be burned out. Like to say they've gone to the parks 100 times is probably not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
My daughter's been a pass holder for 3 of her 5 years, and we go all the time, and they love it. They're so comfortable there, but they're still so like amazed by things. And they just saw their first fireworks on Friday.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like there's a new park map that's made just for kids, and like they
Yeah.
spent 30 minutes staring at that thing, and they never get tired of it. And it's so fun to watch. My daughter, one of the first sentences she said was, Jungle Cruise, watch your head, watch your step. Like thinking about getting on the boat, right? So like it's just part of who they are, and it's like I couldn't be more proud.
Yeah.
So I what I'm getting is, as long as we continue to just be our love for Disney, your kids are just gonna 90% of the time just fall in line with that anyway. And that is a constant in our lives. I gotta say, so September 2023 was my last trip, and it was 3 months before my wife had our baby. And so we actually sat on Main Street at like 10 o'clock at night, sat on a bench, and we cried. We're like, this is
Yeah.
the end of our era as just me and you. And then our future era is going to be with our son. So it was legit, like just bald tears. And we're like, this is goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye for just me and her. Because for me and her, it was trips constantly. It's like I said, like every 6 months, every 5 months, whenever we're like, hey, we're missing Disney, let's go. And that's usually how it went. But then, we're coming up on almost 2 years now of not being at Disney. It's been rough. I'm just saying that. So December 2025 is our first trip back, and it'll be our first trip with our son. So now that original door closed, and now our new door's opening, and I cannot wait.
Dang,
I
your
can already
first
tell.
trip back is going to be Christmas. Good for you.
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah.
We normally, and honestly, we're normally at Halloween. We love Halloween. We're always there, but this time we're like, let's go for Christmas. We'll take the boy.
And
It's
that's
just different.
that's
It's
a
just
whole
next level.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing, right? Like
yeah.
like when Christmas was always a special time for me growing up. Like my mom didn't have anything, but she always made Christmas special. And so when I became like an adult, it was like, yeah, sure, she still gives us good stuff, and she, still makes it a special thing. But like, I didn't have my own thing. And then once, I had a kid, it was like, I got to figure out this tradition, whatever. And Disneyland is it, and then, then on top of that, like Halloween has never really been a big thing for me. I'm not into horror stuff. Like it's just not a big deal to me, but it is now. Like ever since I started going to Halloween parties, like I love Halloween because there's always been this part of me that's like, I want to dress up as something. Like I want to dress in a costume for some reason, but there was never a reason to, right? So now like I get to go to Disneyland dressed in a costume. Last year we did Haunted Mansion, and we were like the stars of the night, and it was amazing. And it was such a fun time. And that time we dressed in Disney, but like it doesn't have to be that. It's just being able to go and like dress in a costume, go trick-or-treating as an adult, and get like 40 pounds of candy, literally, see some of your favorite characters and experiences. Like I was talking so much trash on Dr. Doofenshmirtz last year, so much trash. But then I went and experienced him. I was like, this is amazing. This is what Disneyland is about. Like I just saw this guy jump out of a cartoon. Like it's that
Dr.
stuff.
Doom, like there were so many cool additions to Halloween this last year. It was real sick. But yeah, I agree. It's just holidays at Disney are
they're the best.
Unmatched.
Yeah, they're the
unmatched.
best.
All right. We've kind of bounced around between family stuff. Now let's get back to some dude stuff here. All right. I'm starting with you, Marcus, because you actually made a whole story about you went with a coworker even brought up Disney, and you didn't. You're like, I didn't want to correct him. Didn't want to open the door to like, hey, look at how much Disney I got, bro. So let's talk about that. Like, do you talk about Disney at work? I'm into construction. I used to, before I became actually a general manager, like I used to talk about Disney all the time. And then one day I was like, I got to be professional. And I stopped all Disney. There's nothing Disney in my office, and it breaks my heart. I'm like, this is not me. I have to be a boss and not show my true side that, hey, I actually just, I'm a nerd. I just bought a Mandalorian helmet, but I can't tell you about it. So, but go ahead, Marcus. You made a whole story about it. Maybe you could talk about more about that. But do you talk about it at work?
No, yeah, I do. So I mean, that particular situation, I had a coworker with me, so I don't really divulge my Disney obsession, not because I am ashamed of it. It's really because I don't want people to know. I think I shared. I don't want people knowing how much I go, because when you got your coworkers, your boss, you want to be able to ask for a raise or for a cost. So when they know that you're buying $28 popcorn buckets, routinely, it's hard to be like, it's hard to ask for a raise in that scenario. So when it comes to my coworkers, it's like, it's silence. But I'm not ashamed of it, man. I mean, I work in the steel industry. A lot of my customers are, blue collar for the most part, fabricators, machine shops, that kind of deal. And I embrace, I wear my Mickey polos. I'm not ashamed to talk about it, honestly. When it comes to work, I'm not afraid or ashamed to talk about it. To me, I think it takes courage, honestly. To me, if someone is willing to just, especially in that type of space, if you're willing to, support that, I think it takes some courage, man, to do that. And whether they agree or not, I think they have to give me credit for at least being, willing to walk in there, in that type of environment and not be ashamed. So.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with that. It does take courage, because honestly, like you don't want that first initial contact for them to be like, oh, this guy's weird. He likes Disney. Like honestly, that's what it feels like. Just being like open and honest about it. Like it feels like people have that immediate like he likes Disney, like something like that. Go ahead.
I was saying my favorite story is I walked in on this customer. There's like 12 welders, right? Which welders? I mean, they work hard. They like long hours. Just a tough, grueling job. And there's like 12 welders on lunch break, sitting outside the shop, just on their on their break. And I'm having to walk up. I'm wearing my Mickey polo, and I'm asking for the guy that I'm supposed to be there to see. And obviously, again, it's just. I wish I could to know like what they were thinking, but obviously, yeah, not ashamed here, man.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I respect it. Sean, go ahead. You go.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I understand your points. I really do, because I've been there. Like I work in solar, and a lot of that is like construction people and men's men, and I don't care, and it's gonna come up in a conversation. And it's more like, so I just put up a reel the other day, and it was the Ryan Gosling. I'm not going to talk about it. Okay, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. It always comes up, and it's funny now, because a lot of the people that I work with now, they'll actually tell people on my behalf, like, oh, this guy goes to Disneyland a lot. He's like super into it, and it's really hard to hide like a fucking Disneyland tattoo on my hand. So I used to be like a little bit iffy about who I would tell about it. Now I just tell everybody. I just don't care. I'm just like, this is who I am. It's in my DNA. Like, it's somewhere I spend time with my daughter. It's somewhere I met my wife there. I got engaged to my wife there. It's become, and the way I explain it is really this, like, yes, I'm a Disney adult. I also am a Disney adult that understands that there's some Disney adults that are really weird, right? Like, and that's okay. It's with everything. Every fandom has that thing. But I also explain it like this. I have found a place that is, your bar next door. So you go to a bar every week and you have friends there, and you go there because you have people that and the bartenders are nice to you, and whatever. Like you have a familiar place. This is my familiar place. We go there and we eat our dinner there, and we drink our drinks there, and we just so happen to have rides in a castle. Like, right? So like, it's just, I position it almost as if I'm selling it to them, and then it's really hard to be like, that's still weird to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There you go. By the way, how tall are you, Sean?
I'm 6.
I don't think
6'1".
anyone's gonna tell you anything anyway. They're gonna be like this.
I mean,
tell you.
I am the Red Guardian. Nobody
Yeah.
nobody talks trash to the Red Guardian.
No one is gonna walk up and talk shit to you about whether or not you like Disney.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like, so completely off topic from what we're talking about, but I've danced since I was 16 years old. And the
Sick.
thing that I love about dancing is I'm very off-putting. Like, you look at me and you go,
Dancer.
you like that guy's going to come out on the dance floor and it's going to be really,
dancer.
it's going to be really embarrassing. I'm going to feel bad for this guy. And then I start dancing and it was like, whoa, like, how is this possible? So when I approach a conversation of like, yeah, I go to Disneyland once a week at least, they're like, you're a Disney adult? And it's like, yeah. Like I do that. That's what I do. And it's very, it takes them more time to digest that I am a Disney person than it does like that Disney people are, in the world and exist. And some of them are a little bit different.
I love it.
Yeah, it's funny.
No one's talking trash to you anyway. And
Nobody
when you're
talks
the Red
trash to me.
Guardian.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was sick. By the way, you went to what Comic-Con today?
I was at Comic-Con Revolution today in Ontario. I've done Star Wars costuming. So this Stormtrooper, that's my Sand Trooper. I've done 501st Star Wars costuming for the past few years. But I've never found like a character that I could like vibe with that I look like. And so when when Black Widow came out, I was like, oh, I love this character. He's dope. He's a goofy dad. He's boisterous, weird, funny one-liners. But then when Thunderbolts trailer came out, I was like, he shaved his head. It's like, I didn't want to wear a wig, and I'm a baldy. And so it was like, I was like, I can do this costume. And so I've been embracing it. And now I'm just going to go to as many cons as I can because I am the hit of the show. Honestly, people were in love with me.
Your movie theater reel where they're all for what movie?
Yeah. That was so fun.
Hilarious.
I'm so glad that kid did it too. I was like, hey, you want to shoot a reel with me? He's like,
Yeah, you could tell he was a little hesitant even in the video,
yeah.
but crushed it.
Sweet
Crushed it.
kid,
You made it more
and he did
real.
it, and I made a reel out of it, and it was awesome.
Yeah, way great. All right, Josh, round us off on that one.
So, yeah, I mean, working and living close enough to Disneyland, everyone kind of has an idea of like, what it's all about, right? But for me, like all my coworkers, they're like, okay, he's the Disney guy. On Casual Fridays, like I've got some sort of nod t-shirt to my closet is like work polos, Disney shirts, sports jerseys.
Yeah.
So whether it's like, a subtle hint on a t-shirt or a hat that can kind of pass as a sports hat, but it's actually a Disney hat. It's always something. But I enjoy it because people talk to me about it because I'm like the only one at work who, it's my thing, right? Until one coworker got a pass, and now like we bond over that, and like our kids have had little meetups there. But the hardest thing, honestly, is like when they'll say something and they like maybe they heard it on the news or in the car on the radio, but it's like not quite right. But I don't want to be the douche that like corrects them.
The actually guy.
The actually, that would be Oscar on the the actually guy. So I actually bite my tongue quite a bit, but they know like Friday, okay guys, like I'm just a reminder I'm off tomorrow, for Friday. And they're like, oh, what's happening at Disney? Like they just know.
Yeah.
But to Marcus's point, like, I don't always say how often I'm going, but if I'm missing work, they have a good idea.
Oh yeah. I honestly, one time I had a regional manager. He's like, hey, you're getting a bonus this week, go take your family to Disney. And I'm like, motherfucker, like, how did you know that is exactly what I'm doing? So yeah, that's why I've kind of toned it back too. So they don't know like, oh, we're going to the beach, something like that, something lame. So that way they don't know I'm actually going to, Disney. So no, that's hilarious too.
We're going to the mountains.
I feel bad listening to you guys tell these stories because like, this is what I wear to like meetings and like, and like there's times where I'm like, oh, I'll be at Disneyland tomorrow. I'll be working from the park. So I'll post up in like the DVC lounge at Disneyland and work from there. So like your stories are like way over my head.
Hey, but if anything, like this is more encouraging especially for me, because I've went from 100 to 0. So now I'm going to be like, you know what? Screw it. Because if anything, it creates that connection, It does. The people that even if they've got just a smidge of Disney, like hey, we all experience it in one way or another, from Marvel to Star Wars to shit, Pixar,
Yeah.
any Disney movie. Everyone has seen at least one of those in one way or another. So you have a small connection with everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I think I need to just grow a set and actually start wearing some Disney stuff
Yeah.
at work.
But
That's
it's your what you last said, like, and that's what I think that's kind of like the equalizer is Disney is now Disney, and it's Disney characters and Marvel and Star
yeah.
Wars, and it's like you get a chance. So like I have a friend who is really into Star Wars, doesn't give a shit about Disney. But we can still be like, oh, hey, did you go to Disneyland and go on Rise of the Resistance? And it's like, yeah, that's so badass. And so it's like, it's the equalizer, right?
Yeah.
With this whole like Avengers campus thing with kind of like inserting and injecting character arcs from what's going on currently on Disney Plus or in the movie theaters, like Red Guardian's there right now. Like that's something that a lot of people can like bond over. Like, oh yeah, I'm not super into Disney, but like I'll go and see Avengers Campus so I can see Captain America walking around. Like I think that's cool to have an equalizer like that.
Absolutely. I agree. And honestly, us on social media, I'm going to say all four of us are breaking that stigma too of being social medially strong, talking about Disney and all aspects of Disney.
Yeah.
I know Marcus is some of the funniest reels, and Marcus, I don't know how you dream of those or think those up, but they're hilarious. And
Appreciate it, man.
you're always fresh off the cuff. So big props to you. And all the rest of us though, like coming up with content is difficult. It really is. And especially I'm just gonna say it's very female dominated for Disney.
Sure. Yeah.
Female dominated.
Absolutely.
So the fact that we are taking a little growth path in this and saying like, hey, guys are into this too, I think that's taking a big stand for all of us, right? And we're trying to break that mold that I fucking love Disney.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to admit it. I cried on Main Street. I cried during fireworks. I cried during everything, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I ain't afraid to say that one. I mean, I'm watching YouTube stuff because I've been gone for so long and I'm still crying. Like it is what it is, right? And I think this episode too is gonna really like just show like, hey, we all love it. That's the honest truth. That's really where it is. All right. So I got to ask you, for each of your kids, what is your favorite Disney moment or memory that you have? Just I know that, look, and all three of you are like, oh man, let me think real quick. I won't put anybody on the spot. So whoever's ready to talk about that, what is something that like maybe made you proud, or just a moment or memory that you have of your kids that just was like, you know what? Yeah, this is it. I'm glad they love this. Whoever's ready, go ahead.
I can go just because it's like fresh. So I'll start with my son because his was a little more recent, being that he's younger. Like the first time he like embraced Mickey Mouse, because you never know how kids are going to react to characters.
Yeah.
And it's one thing for like, my daughter to see a princess and they're a human and they're just like a pretty looking person and they've got a nice dress. So of course she wants to go look at them and give them a hug. It's another when it's a, big ass mouse and you don't know, like, are the eyes blinking? That's kind of creepy. And how's he going to react? And he was so excited. And for my daughter, it was her first trip, taking her on the King Arthur carousel for the first time. And I'm like, I've got my hand around her because she's so little, she can barely sit on the horse. And I'm like, my other hand's like, wiping tears away. Like, this is our life now. Like, how magical is this? So both of those being pretty recent, like those are burned into my brain in the best way.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Who wants to go now?
I'll go. Yeah. So for me, there's a lot of them, honestly. So I'm struggling here, but one I think that stands out the most is, I think every kid wants to get a balloon on Main Street. And as much as you don't want, like I said, I love Disney, but man, a Disney balloon, that's another level, man. Because, you got to carry that thing around. It hits you in the face. But my daughter had been asking for one. And so we got her one. But this is not where the story is. The story, the part that makes me a memory that I look back on is when we had to leave, right? And, what do you do with the balloon when you leave? You leave it in your room. And my daughter did not want to part ways with this balloon. But we suggested that maybe she give it to somebody else. And for her to like go and give that to somebody else so that they can then carry that balloon and, kids, save that parent, hopefully like $40, but also like they can carry that, that magic on to their trip. Like to me, like those are sort of our favorite moments where we simple things like a popcorn bucket, just passing it on, helping people where they can go and, just experience some magic themselves. And we get pixie dusted, sometimes in the parks, and it's just nice to be able to, return that favor as well. And so in this particular case, it was my daughter, being willing, obviously we prompted her, but for her to be willing to give that balloon to somebody, it was a special moment for sure.
That's awesome.
That is a pro tip I am taking forever. We're going to give it to some other kid. Is
That's
not
all.
coming home with me. Okay.
That's a good one.
I mean, that's a solid one, but still, like, okay, I'll remember that for next time. What about a bubble wand too? I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure there's the bubble wand too. That I can't wait for that moment. He already loves bubbles, so I'm like, oh, we're screwed. Like,
Yeah.
he's just gonna,
Yes.
he's
You
gonna be
gotta
that
find
kid.
someone else with bubbles and just kind of,
Yes.
behind them, getting their slipstream.
Yeah, then it's just a bubble train. I love it. All right, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, like I'm in a different boat than you guys because Kenzie's 16, right? Like, so like
Yeah.
I've got like I have favorite moments of like eras of Kenzie, right? But there's always like just literally just holding hands on Main Street. I have a picture on my wall of back when I was part of the social club scene at Disneyland, which was a whole other thing. We'll talk about that another time. It was a
right.
weird time in our lives. But I've got this picture on my wall of her and I just walking down Main Street holding hands, and that was everything,
Yeah.
But then there's times like last night where this new key to Disneyland thing came out, and us running from one location to another trying to get the bubbles to pop up on these locations. And my favorite, I think one of my favorite moments at Disneyland happened last night with these keys to Disneyland. There's a way to hack them, which we found out. You don't have to go to every location and actually like put the key in to get it to unlock. And so we were standing in the locker room on Main Street, and we were trying to figure out there's a pinhole on the key that you have to push for it to set. And she was like, I got a bobby pin. I'm like, no, bobby pin's too big. And she's like, oh, and she pulls out her earring, and we hacked this thing in the middle of the locker room, and the thing like lights up and it plays Phantasmic, and our pin pops out of the back, and we were just like, we just hacked Disneyland. This is dope. And it was just like, that's now one of my favorite memories of all time. And it happened last night.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. And your tears right now. Hey, I think we all experienced that just super proud connecting moment with our kids, and it just breaks your heart, makes you feel like it doesn't matter what manly stuff we do, we're still big softies when it comes to our kids, man.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I love that. But great story. That's cool. You guys hacked the key.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That.
It was. I got it on video. Look out for it on my Instagram. It was pretty funny.
All right, sounds good. All right, so here's a fun question that we kind of maybe brushed over it, and I think maybe Sean may have answered it more, but how do you respond when someone says Disney is just for kids?
It was never just for kids.
Disneyland
has never.
They just don't know.
Yeah, there has never been a time where anybody in the history of Disneyland has ever said Disneyland is for kids. Walt Disney was very open about the fact that he wanted a place for families to come and spend their time together. He created it because he wanted a spot for him and his kids to spend time, watching them on the carousel, as Josh was talking about earlier. There was never a time where Walt Disney said, I really want this place for kids to come. And he even has, there's a quote on record of him on camera, and he was like, the oldies come in and they enjoy it probably as much as the kids. They come out after dark and they really have a good time, and it's a place for them to be kids again. I'm obviously paraphrasing, but him saying that, like, he knew what he built. He built somewhere for a family unit to come and spend time together, or for an adult to come by themselves and just walk around the park and enjoy themselves. I've done both. I walked around Disneyland by myself for a little bit yesterday. Solo trips are really cool because you don't have any agenda. You don't have anything to do. You just go. And I don't feel weird or bad because I don't have a kid on my arm ever.
Yeah.
Tabitha and I, my wife, we go to Disneyland probably more without Kenzie. She's got a lot of things going on with school and, all kinds of stuff. And so we end up in the parks a lot without her. And we don't feel weird about it, and we don't feel that we're missing something. Like, you know, of course, we'd rather her be there. Of course, you know, why not? But, you know, we don't feel like, oh, people are going to think, oh, there's those Disney adults. I don't care, because there's, well, for a lot of reasons, but one of the main ones is nobody ever said Disneyland was for kids, ever.
Solid. A great point.
Yeah, it's like someone who just doesn't understand it, or they haven't been before. It's like they're just they're showing that they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, there's, whether you're a fan or agree with the things that the parks are implementing, I mean, they're making it more welcoming to all ages, at least.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's, there's more places to get drinks, or there's rides that you have to be a certain height to ride on. Like, kids can't do that. And that's not a new thing, right? Like, from the beginning, like, okay, Matterhorn, that's an oldie ride. Little kids couldn't ride on that.
Right. Exactly.
And it's not like Disneyland is a drop off where you just send your kids and it's like, okay, come back later. And there was always fine dining restaurants, you know, so like Walt knew, he was a dad. And so people who say that it's just for kids, I'm like, one, I feel bad for you because you're missing out.
Yeah.
100%.
And
it's just
two,
crabby
like,
old people. Sorry, go.
You probably just haven't been there enough time.
Yeah.
And maybe you have only been as a kid. And it's like, oh man, you probably just need a hug, and you need a That's probably
Well, yeah, because I've gotten the comments on my Instagram, because a lot of our podcast page is me. Like, Tab will get on there. Kenzie will too. They're not as much into it as I am, as far as like the social presence. And I'll post things of like myself doing something, or like meeting a character or whatever. And I've gotten comments like, imagine being a grown man at Disneyland. And my response is, imagine having the emotional IQ of a rock. You know, like, who cares? Like, imagine loving a team so much that you're not even on. I'm not going to, you know, like, people love things, right? It's just, what do you identify with? I'm not a sports person at all. But, you know, I'm not going to piss on somebody because they really like the Lakers, right? I don't care. Do your thing. If that's what you love, wear those clothes. And that's, you know, whatever. Great.
Honestly, it's not affecting you.
At all.
Congrats. My internet reel has bothered you that much that you felt the need.
Exactly.
I literally had someone say, that's cool. I bet this is super cool with my daughter. And I'm like, it sure fucking is.
Yeah.
It's not cool with you because you're missing out. So that's honestly how I feel. Right. I mean, like you said,
I got in a fight. I got in an Instagram fight with somebody one time because I had posted something like, I'm now judging my relationships based on this simple question of, would I spend the day with you at Disneyland?
Yeah, I remember.
And I think it's a good a litmus test for a friendship, right? Like, if you can't spend 5 to 12 hours, you know, whatever 5 to 12 hours with a person because they're mean, they're annoying, they're rude to service staff, you know, whatever that thing is, like, if you can't spend that time with them, why would you want to spend any other time with them, right? So I think that's the ultimate guide of who you can hang out with in your life, or you want to hang out with in your life. And I had most of the people were like, oh my God, I'm going to use this. Yeah, that's so smart. But I had a few people that were like, I think that's a really gross way to look at things. And I'm like, how? How is that? How? Like, and nobody could explain it. It was just bitching to bitch. But it was like, explain that to me. Like, tell me how I'm wrong. Would you, if you went to Disneyland with somebody and they were something negative for most or part of that day, that's somebody you really want to spend the rest of your life being friends with? I don't. I have no interest in that.
No.
So that's my ultimate litmus test. Would I spend the day with you at Disneyland? If not, then I probably don't want to be friends with you.
That's a great one. I love that. I'm going to start using that for the rest of my life. Like, that's, and you like Disney, cool.
But it has nothing to do with Disney. It has nothing to do with Disney. It has everything
just, are you an asshole of a human?
How do you treat people? How do you treat service staff? How do you treat people around you? How respectful are you of, you know, social settings? You know, that's my whole thing. It has nothing to do with Disney. It's just a public setting. Really.
Agreed. All right, Marcus, you want to answer that one? If not, I got a question for you.
I mean, it's kind of what you guys have said. I mean, I guess, like, for me, I'm at where I'm at, and maybe it's just like, obviously I'm outwardly, you know, I'm rocking my Disney clothes. I guess, like, for me, I don't really care, honestly. I mean, that's just kind of like, I've been fortunate and never been, you know, heard that come across, you know, like, oh, it's just for kids. But, you know, to me, like, kind of what Josh said, like, if they say that, it's more like an indictment on them than it is on Disney World or, you know, or Disney in general. And so for me, that's kind of where I'm at. If you're gonna say that, then I'm not gonna waste my time. There's always something wrong with you, in my opinion. You're not open
Yeah.
minded, and so like I'm not gonna really even engage. Honestly, that's kind of where I'm at
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's just us getting older too. The less you don't need to like
Yeah,
juggle that in your mind. It's just in and out. I don't give a shit. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Like I don't have
Yeah.
time for you. Honestly, and I
right.
think that's the biggest thing as being a parent. Is time is valuable,
Yes,
and
right.
that's why I am not wasting any amount of energy on your time. Like, sorry.
Oh,
Yep.
and I think that's, I think there's a lot of maturity in that. And, I spent a lot of my life really worrying about what people thought about me. Like a lot of my life where it was like, oh my God, what if they think this, or what if they hear this, or what if they notice this? And it got, because, with a lot of things, the things that I love to do, things that I tell people, like I'm very open about like mental health and taking care of yourself and like,
Yeah.
identifying things like that. And like, what if I tell them that and then they judge me because of it? And it's like, it's so exhausting. It's so exhausting to consider what billions of people are thinking about you. Like literally, like
Right.
if you think about how you feel and how these things make you feel and the way they, bring you closer to a friend or closer to your partner or closer to your kid, like, at the end of the day, who fucking cares?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. All right, so we'll do a quick round robin, and then I'll ask you something real quick. So this could be like a quick one answer if you want to give me more detail about it. We'll start with you, Marcus. You also, by the way, for those that don't know, Marcus is actually in Texas. So he's in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
He's kind of, are you more Florida or are you more California? You're going to say probably Florida because it's
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
Well, my investment is all in Florida. All my money is spent there, man. I mean, we've done both. I'll be honest.
For sure.
We've been to both parks, but I mean, for me, it's Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love Disneyland, but to me, it's Florida. We went to Disneyland in March this year. Obviously, we're pass holders in Florida.
Yeah.
That's our home park. And so.
Okay, so here we go. Favorite area or favorite land to hang out in?
Well, it's changed. Honestly, when we first started going to 21, I would have said Frontierland back when Splash Mountain was still there. Obviously, Big Thunder Mountain. It's obviously changed. I've kind of transitioned more to Hollywood Studios now that my kids are tall enough and old enough to ride rides. We kind of prefer that park over Magic Kingdom, which might be, people might just click off right now because that seems to be kind of a trigger for some people. But it's Sunset Boulevard. To me, that's where it's at, and it's at dusk. I don't care where I'm at, as long as I'm at like in a park at dusk. That's my favorite place to be at a Disney park.
Yeah, that transition, like it's something about the nighttime getting, all the lights coming up. I agree. Josh, go ahead.
In Florida, it's usually
sorry,
when it's getting cool. No, I'm saying when in Florida, it's usually when it's getting cooler too. It's when the sun's coming down. It's a little more reasonable.
There you
go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No. Yeah, absolutely. Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, mine changes too. Like if you asked me 20 years ago, like when I went in high school, it was like we went to Space Mountain, we went to Indiana Jones, we went to Thunder Mountain, and that was kind of it. Like you just kind of bounced between those. Like I couldn't even told you what rides were in Fantasyland. And now, like as a dad, like you're probably going to catch me on the carousel or Casey Jr. Like every damn time we're there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. So if I'm with my kids, I'd say my favorite's Fantasyland because it's their favorite. If I'm by myself, like honestly, I could just find a bench on Main Street and the music in the background. Maybe I talk to someone on the porch or, the horses clicking by. Maybe I'll see Sean cruising down the street.
It happens. It definitely happens.
Talk to the Dapper Dans. So yeah, it changes, but just as soon as I walk in the gates, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I could be in the furthest corner by Winnie the Pooh, and there's a nice little waterfall on a bench there. I'm stoked.
Love it.
Anywhere.
I love it. 100%.
Yeah.
Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, I something that I've been really appreciating lately is because it is so far out of the way. It's not, it's off the beaten path a little bit. I love being on Batu. Like I really enjoy being back there because I am a big Star Wars fan. I do enjoy the characters that they've got back there. Like I love, even if I don't like go approach them, I love just seeing them around. Like there's nowhere else in the park where you feel like you're on another planet, literally. And so I could literally just sit back there on the corridor for a day, honestly, listening to the sounds, checking out the Falcon, like seeing, Boba Fett or the Mandalorian or Ahsoka walk by. Like that's awesome. But if you were to give me one spot that I could visit, only that spot every time I went, it's Main Street, USA, man. Like from Town Square to the hub to the castle, like you have everything Disneyland in one spot. You've got the nostalgia with the old timey music. You've got shopping. You've got good food with Carnation and Plaza Inn, snacks at Jolly Holiday. You've got the hub with the man who created it all. And the castle, like there's nothing more iconic than you get a good view into Tomorrowland, a good view into Adventureland and Frontierland. Like there's no better spot than just being on Main Street. Anywhere on Main Street, you can find me there every day.
I'm gonna actually, I'll agree with you, but too, like at night, that is my absolute favorite place to hang out. Just something about the ambiance there. Like just hearing like a fake ship flying over,
dude.
you're like, wow, like I'm in Star Wars, like literally in Star Wars. Like I cannot beat that enough. But I gotta say, Adventureland is actually one of my favorite places to just hang out. You got your tiki torches. You have like Indiana Jones. I was such a Harrison Ford like indie nerd growing up. Like I absolutely wanted to be Indiana Jones wholeheartedly. My first ride that I was tall enough, like that I measured at, was actually Indiana Jones.
Nice.
And oh man, that's still so many good memories. So I think that maybe goes back to just like a memory. And that's why I love Adventureland so much. So, but yeah, that's it. But I can stay in Star Wars Land, I think, all day too with you. Like 100%. That is my absolute favorite. And I wish there was more alcoholic drinks just out in the open in Disneyland, but that's okay. But hey, Oga's is always a great spot to hang out and get. But
a very close third for me is though, and it's because of a lot of things. But one, because I worked on the rivers, but the Rivers of America are such a cool spot because if you think about like what that encompasses is like you get Frontierland, you get New Orleans Square, Critter Country, but like taking a ride on the Mark Twain, dude, that's a fucking vibe. That is such a good time.
It is, honestly. All right, I know we're kind of running out of time here. We all got work tomorrow, so I'm gonna power through. Last one, here we go. Go-to snack, Sean, go for it.
Oh, hands down, the peanut butter square at the candy shop on Main Street, Trolley Treats at DCA, the sweet shop on out in downtown Disney. It's a hunk of peanut butter with whole peanuts covered in chocolate. It's one of my favorite snacks of all time, anywhere in the world.
That sounds fire.
Yeah.
That sounds so fire. All right, Marcus, go.
All right, for us East Coasters, I'm gonna go with the carrot cookie at the Red Trolley, like Starbucks in Hollywood Studios. That is my absolute favorite. If you're there, you got to get it, but don't eat it there. Take it back to your resort and put it in the freezer. Let it get chilled, even cooler than what it is at the park. And then, it's the perfect snack, in my opinion.
Repeat that one more time so everyone just made sure they heard that.
Yes, okay. That is the carrot cookie cake at the Red Trolley in Hollywood Studios. Like right when you walk in through the front, it's like maybe 100 yards to your right. Obviously, it's in the Starbucks, so sometimes it takes a while to get, but it is my favorite. Absolute. It's filling, man. You can probably eat it. You can eat it multiple because it's big. It's nice.
We're going to be out at Disney World in July, so that is on my list, man. Thank you.
All right, yeah, definitely.
Literally on my. I've had this note going for about 5 years.
There you go.
This is just Disney World Eats.
I love it.
I love it.
I just added it.
All right, Josh. I mean, first of all, I love carrot cake, so I'm guaranteed gonna love that cookie. So
yeah, that sounds good.
On my list now. Go ahead, Josh. What's yours?
Honestly, like I really like the sweet pretzels. So the cream cheese pretzel, Bayside Brews in DCA, or like the Tomorrowland cart, or Refreshment Corner on Main Street. And then when they have like the toffee pretzel, so it's sweet cream cheese inside, but then it has like sugar coating as well. Like obviously it's it speaks for itself.
You
Yeah,
you can tell
that's it.
all you guys are vets here. All just vets have been. You've tried. You weren't like generic, like a churro or
Popcorn,
anything
yeah.
like that. I love the popcorn, but that
Yeah.
ain't my go-to. I'm saying the caramel apple pie, the one that is actually the Mickey shape with the ears. One of
Okay.
my absolute
Ah,
favorite
yeah.
caramel apples of all time. That is my wife's like, all right, go get it. That's
Yeah.
basically how it is. Every night. And I got to get a pre-slice because if you don't ask it, you got to use a plastic knife
Yeah.
when you're in the hotel room. And
Yeah.
you're like, God damn it, what did I
Yeah.
do? Yeah, that's my go-to right
That's
there.
amazing.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that brings up a point though. They don't have like apple cutters at the Disney parks, and I can't figure out why.
No,
They sell
You
them
gotta
everywhere.
bring one from home.
They sell
honestly.
apples
They should
everywhere.
sell those.
I don't get it, man. I don't.
And if you don't ask for it pre-cut, like you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like good luck eating
Yeah.
that.
I didn't know
think
you could ask for a pre-cut.
you
I
just
didn't
gotta
either.
wheel and deal. You gotta be like, just please cut it for me. You've
Okay,
got a
so-
knife back there.
So
Honestly.
what you're saying is in the hotel gift shops, they need to sell apples.
Yes.
Hey, that'd be genius. Actually, I have gone into like the Grand Californian and went into the bar and I was like, I need a knife.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, there you go. And I'm like, cool. At least I
That
got
is
something
so
to cut
wild,
this up.
man. I don't get it. I
But-
can't.
But
One of the great
I-
Disney mysteries.
yeah, and is it because they don't want to ruin like the shape of it
I
because
don't
it's
know.
got the ears and everything? Just cut it up,
How
bro. I'm
else
gonna
are you
eat
supposed
it.
to eat it? I mean,
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Maybe that qualifies as preparing food or something, and it's a permit thing.
Ooh.
That's
Right,
the
'cause
only
aren't
thing
they-
that makes
aren't
sense
they,
to me.
Aren't they? Are they? Do they wrap? No, they're not wrapped. Right?
Don't
They're
ask
just in a
stupid
bag.
questions, Josh. Don't ask.
I don't eat. I don't
Knock
eat.
it off.
I don't eat fruit. I don't eat fruit at Disneyland. Are you kidding?
Hey, but it's caramel. Hey, caramel, apple pie. Okay, it's fire.
And actually,
It's
a pineapple spear on a hot day is one of the best snacks in Disneyland.
Oof, I agree.
Yeah.
That's so
That
good.
sounds good.
So good. Guys, I appreciate your time. Thank you for all donating an hour to this. I hope you guys had a
Oh,
blast.
we're
It
done
was
already?
great. Yeah, it was great getting to know like each of you three. I can't wait to like continue our relationship after this. Maybe we'll do this again if you guys are down. We can find another
for
topic.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
for
Sean's
sure,
all
man.
on it. I love
We
it.
didn't even
Yeah.
get into hot takes or anything like that.
Nothing. Hey, I know Marcus is in Texas. It's probably midnight there for him, so we got to get him off
Yeah.
this. So maybe another time we'll get this a little earlier, so we're not all killing each other. But hey, appreciate you guys. By the way, this is before Father's Day. We're trying to maybe release this, but if you're listening and it is Father's Day, happy Father's Day to you out there, to all the Disney dads. I hope we're representing you guys in a strong way. Any last closing words, guys?
Yeah.
To the
I have
dads
one.
at Disneyland, who aren't Disney dads, you suck. You're not happy to be there.
Yeah.
Your kids probably don't want you there, and you're making the rest of us look bad. So just
Yeah.
send them without you. Just don't even go.
If you wear a shirt that says most expensive day ever, you're a shit human being.
The broke Disney dad, fuck you.
Oh man,
I love it.
Oh,
Marcus,
that's so
finish us
funny.
off, man. What you
man,
got?
I can. Oh wow, I can't even add to that, man. I would say this is a lot of fun. I want to do this more often. I think it's great that we all got together and just to share. Like honestly, I've never met you guys, but we have a common interest, and it's just like talking with friends right off the bat. And so,
Yeah.
like
I
I
agree.
think people should be a little more open minded. That's what I will say. Just be open minded because you don't know what you'll find if you just I just take the time to get to know people. I'm just so grateful to be on this with you guys.
Same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our first episode. We're really excited to keep this going. If there's one thing that we want you to take away from this episode, it's that this stigma is silly. It doesn't matter what people think about you. If you're finding joy in what you're doing, that's all that matters. So, if you found this episode fun, helpful, entertaining, please share it with a friend, hopefully a dad. If not, we're open to everybody. And please leave us a review, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram at the Dads of Main Street. From all of us here, Josh, Austin, Marcus, and myself, I'm Sean. Stay kind, stay open, and remember, the magic works better when you bring your whole self with you. Thanks for listening to the Dads of Main Street podcast. We'll see you next time.
Latest.
See you in the park.